Do you find it difficult to focus on your customers and even your own employees as you're juggling numerous vendors? Do you have more meetings with vendors than you can count? And do their reports filled with technical jargon make you feel clueless and frustrated? Such is the story of Nathan. Being at a car dealership, he's concerned about his store's digital marketing presence and invests most of his time dealing with vendors to promote his business and gain more sales and market share. Nathan is busy handling reports and reviewing them, not knowing what is happening on the advertising front and about his true ROI. Poor Nathan is worried but can't figure out a solution until he found BZ Consultants Group. BZ Consultants stepped in and was able to take the digital marketing vendor burden off Nathan's plate, giving him peace of mind that the best interest of the dealer was always top of mind. Being an unbiased third party, BZ Consultants always made sure to relay the reports in easy, relatable, and actionable ways so that Nathan could best utilize the data. Now, Nathan can focus on what he really wanted, the customer experience and growth. By being your digital marketing business partner, BZ Consultants Group will remove the hassle trying to hold your vendors accountable and increase your productivity with the time you will now have armed with true data. Together, we make it possible because your success is our goal.
Welcome into the Furniss Fast Lane, Facts Not Feelings, Furniss Fast Lane. And how is everyone doing? Christopher, you and I are talking offline here. I've got a banner still going here. Maybe we should stop the banner here. But it's that type of morning. It's the type of day. I've already been shoveling this morning because our snowblower broke. You think we've had enough snow? It was -8 this morning. I got nothing right now, Chris. I got nothing. How are you doing?
I'm doing a little bit better than that. I'm not freezing my tail off. It's a little dark and stormy out here, but that's also a name of a good cocktail. So, we try to look on the bright side of things and keep it positive when we can.
Love it. As I'm shoveling the snow this morning, I go, and I'm thinking of you, and I'm thinking yesterday of the walk and talk when I thought I was going to die of frostbite. I just go, I would be a lot happier right now if I was having to move my feet out of the white sandy beaches versus the freaking snow. Like, no more snow.
I was watching your walk and talk, and I was like, I feel like Brooke needs to have like a Snowden days like the schools do, where it just says along the bottom, like walking talk will be done inside today or something like that. Just like some kind of notification when it hits a certain temperature out there. But
yeah, I bundled up pretty well. So I was like, okay, I think I'll be okay. And I got outside. I was like, I gravely mistaken and mistook what the weather was outside. I mean, as we were talking before, I go, the swing was from, what was that, almost like 50 degrees. It went from like -35 to 8. So, a little over 40, I can't do math right now. I was good at math at one time.
You were out there, no face coverings, no like earmuffs, no nothing. I'm like, this girl she's off the hook.
Welcome to Siberia. All right, let's jump in here. We've got a bunch of comments rolling in here, and we're gonna work backwards all the way up here. Brian Ortega, it's time. I don't know if I can say it like Rafika. It's time. Yeah, I got nothing. I can't do impressions here. Not going true. We've also got a wonderful Jordan Cox coming in with saying, it's time, baby. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We've got Peter Smith with the first comment. Peter, congratulations on the first comment here. Say he's looking forward to the show in Vegas. And that makes, I'll say 3, 4, 5 of us here. We've also got Robert coming in here. Chris, grab the guitar and start playing. Let's do it.
Do not. It is 6. It's strictly for decoration, for conversation. I tried to pick up guitar about 6 months ago. I'm just not built for it. I have like piano hands, soft fingers. And if you've never tried to play guitar, like you really have to build up like callus and stuff like that. It takes a long time. I didn't have the patience for it. You do not want to hear it. I'll just stick to playing keys and that'll be my thing. But Robert, if you know how to play guitar, like we could start a band maybe.
There you go. And once Larry Feldman jumps in here, he's got a band. He's a great guitar player. And Brian, I love you, but I don't like you right now. So I'm going to say, buddy, at 55, yeah, take it almost an 80 degrees difference of what we've been experiencing. But yes, enjoy your sunny 55. And I'm sure that's very cold for you all. Break out the Uggs, break out the winter coat, the parka. You might die of frostbite there. Russell saying hello and good day to you both. Russell, hello and good day to you. Cannot wait to see you in Vegas. Let's talk about Vegas before we jump in here and get this thing rock and rolling. So I just want to thank everybody. Like the overwhelming response for the live show here we're broadcasting all day on Saturday, the 3rd at the Dealer Funnel Dealer World booth, which is apparently being taken out by the nice little logo here. Let's try this one more time. And there we go, right there. Just thank you so much. And for those that were like, hey, Brooke, I want to be a part of it, you can still be a part of it to an extent here. So we're going to have the wonderful happy hour. And I know that there are a lot of happy hours going on right now. Like you go to the Osoto's page, there's a lot of happy hours going on. The one thing I'll say about this, cool kids are going to be there because I'm going to be there. We've got Dealer Funnel, Dealer World. We've got Excel Media Group, Stella AI, and it's going every single night. So a lot of times we go to these after parties or these happy hours, and it's right during the time of a dinner. I don't think your dinner's going till midnight. So you've got a choice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every day till midnight. Wednesday and Thursdays, 8 to midnight. And then Friday's going to be 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. So it should.
There's a lot of parties going on, but there's only one Brooke Furniss. So
I mean,
make sure you go to the right ones.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer, actually. I'm just saying here. We've got Steven saying it's 2 degrees. Hey, there you go. It's this morning when we were shoveling, it was -8. Where do you live, Steven? Are you Midwest? Are you East Coast? If you're that cold, you got to be that. I mean, you could be like a Utah, or Idaho, or Montana, but I'm gonna guess you're Midwest or East Coast. And then Russell, let's go and grow. Russell, I always have a rough time saying that one. And learn and earn. And Russell again that says, let's go. Oh, it's so important. We're saying it twice. That's the big part of there. All right, so we had a killer episode that dropped yesterday, and with the one and only Chris Hawaii. And as I was doing the walk and talk, my brain was frozen. I couldn't think. I was like, what the hell did we talk about? I don't remember like AI, marketing. I was like, no, it's about digital body language. That's what we were talking about. So I kind of had a little bit of a freeze there for a hot second. Oh, you're in Chicago as well, Stephen. Fantastic. Yeah, that's where I am. It was a little colder this morning. So go Chicago. We love Chicago. But so many great takeaways to the show, and how many, what we discussed. And it wasn't until I got in and thought out a little bit. I was like, what are you talking about, Brooke? That's not what we talked about. So I'm going to turn it over to you. What was one of your main takeaways from the show that just dropped yesterday with yours truly, Mr. Chris?
Yeah. And of course, when we get to talking, you and I, we tend to just talk about everything because we get along so well. So I'm sure we touched on so many different things on that show. But I think one of the main takeaways that just to reiterate is we talked about that digital body language and how you make a customer feel that's shopping for you. So for dealerships that are out there, one of the things that I want dealerships to take away from the show is for them to consider creating or identifying within themselves kind of who their identity is as a persona, as the dealership, right? We talked about Native, about their deodorant and their skincare products and things like that, and how they have such a great identity. And we talked about some of the Twitter handles from like Wendy's and stuff like that, and how they've created a funny identity over there. So one of the takeaways that I'd like dealerships to consider is, how are you going to identify yourself as a persona of the dealership? How do you want clients to feel when they interact with you? Do you want to be that funny and let's have fun type of dealership? Do you want to be that, hey, we're pet friendly and that's our thing about this dealership? Whatever it is, whatever that you choose is the most authentic version of your dealership or what you want to represent, lean into that. But strongly consider it. I think a lot of dealerships have leaned onto things just like, hey, we have the best price, or hey, we're family owned. All those things are fantastic and great, but I don't know that sets you apart from any of your competition. So one of the things I'd like dealerships to take away is to consider that, for 2024 and beyond.
And it is. That's kind of a pet peeve of mine when I hear that, oh, we're family owned. Like, so many red flags and bells and whistles, and not go off my mind like automatically. I think I was talking to Fleming Ford about this. I think that's who it was. It may have been Sandy, one of the two, but we're just saying, if you're family owned, can you fire your family? If you can, let me know. I mean, I might want to at some point, but I don't think you fire your family. So if you say you're family owned, Walmart is family owned. So there's just so many things when I hear them, like, God, just cringe. I'm like, no, let's try to go somewhere else on this one, because we can do better than family owned. It just drives me bonkers when I hear that. And if you're interviewing for a place, you might want to see some red flags on that one as well. And Matt, we got a couple more comments in here I want to try and get to, and then we'll get to this next one. We've got Charles saying, happy Friday. Very happy Friday. By Wednesday, I thought it was Friday. Tuesday, I thought it was Thursday. It's been a long ass week. We are happy to be here on Friday. So happy Friday to you as well. We had, where did we lose this last one here? We're super serious. Yeah. Yes.
And super sarcastic as well, Brian. We see that.
And you all have not checked out his Fighting Inflation, his commercial. Go check it out. Speaking of being serious and not at all serious at all. It looks like Peter just had snow for the first time. He says barely had to stack up on Timmy's.
Is that a Chicago thing? Timmy's?
Well, he's in Canada. Says, are we talking Tim Hortons? Help us on the translation there. I've lived a lot of places, but I'm not.
Tim Hortons makes sense. That's their coffee up there. That's a good guess. Strong guess.
The few coffees I'll actually drink, they call it nepotism. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then we've got Larry. Hello to you. Just making sure I got to you, buddy.
Yeah,
Thank you for all your support. Love you. Can't wait to see you. And for those who don't know, quick plug for Larry and Peter. They've got their lethal sales also going to be broadcasting from the NAD show. So check them out. Go see what they're doing. Okay. So one of the other takeaways for me was there's so many of them. So many. I loved your talk all about digital body language. Like we talked about, the family on and all that. To me, that was such a big one. And I don't want to go too far in depth with it because that's your terminology. But for those that have not watched the show or listened to the show right now, first off, go consume it later after this. But talk about this. That's the first time I'd heard that term before. So you don't expand on that a little bit?
I've heard it referenced in another way, but it just came across to me that like we're in a situation right now where brand loyalty is at an all-time low, right? So there are consumers that are out there right now, clients that are out there right now, don't know who they're going to purchase with, don't know what brand, don't know what dealership they're going to purchase with. And they're out there, let's just put it at a relationship like analogy. They're out there looking to date somebody new. They're looking to form a new relationship with somebody new. So much like dating, if you go on a date with someone, body language is such a huge thing when you're getting to know somebody. If it's a date or any kind of relationship, it's such a huge thing when you're looking to get to know somebody. And it's one of the signs of trust and how you build trust with somebody is you can kind of tell, listen, is this person sketchy and they're looking around and they're giving you, dark alley vibes, or, are they making eye contact with you and being genuine and sincere and you feel like this is someone you can trust? And so the way that translates into the digital body language of the dealership is everything has to align, both what the dealership's message is, what their branding is, and what they're saying, but then also what their website looks like, what their Google reviews and clients are saying about them, how they interact with you when they're responding to emails and how they talk back to you. All those kind of subliminal things all relate to what the ultimate view of the digital body language is and what that vibe comes off of the client. So as we have clients that out there that more so or ever are looking to date a new brand or a new dealership, is a real opportunity for dealerships out there to make sure that their digital body language is all in line and that they're having a chance to grab market share from their competitors, because if they're more in line, they're going to more likely build trust and they're going to more likely gain more clients. So not my token slogan to start, but I just like that as an analogy for what the vibe is that clients get when they're shopping dealerships.
And there's so many things to unpack, and I think you and I talked about this as well, is when you're looking at, I'm going to take Brian, because we got Brian obviously commenting here, and Brian does a phenomenal job, and he jokingly said, we're so serious at Valley High. Could you imagine if you went into their store and they actually were serious, and you're like, who abducted you? Like, I don't know who this person is.
I came here for the fun guy. Where's the fun guy at? Yeah.
People are, man. I want you kicking inflations. There's just so much there that, like, if that's who you are, make sure it's through who you are all the way through. You'd provide an example during the show yesterday about, hey, I think it was a dealership or let's say a business decides to start advertising on TikTok. Great idea. The problem was they didn't really happen to care what their digital body language was, and they were getting slammed left and right. So understand, if you're going to portray something, know who you are at the core. Like if you say you're fair and honest and blah, 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 and yet you're ripping people off all the time, probably don't want to be sending that message, or whatever it may be. Maybe, it's, I only sell Jordans, but I'm going to broadcast them selling bronze. Well, I'm not going to sell a bronze. Like, no, no. So I jokingly say that tongue in cheek, but really understand who you are. And we've told the story before where I've seen businesses want to say that they're pet friendly, and they've never done anything with pets in their. In fact, when they had something with pets, they didn't even broadcast. So just know who you are, because there's so much out there, and it's yes, Google reviews and if you're in restaurant, Yelp and all the Facebook. There's other ways that people understand who you are. Not a lot of people look at Reddit. Like not a lot of people are, because I'll say it's a younger generation ish, but going to a place to say, what are they like? I'm going to go ask so-and-so. I'm going to go to this place. I'm going Gen Z. They're getting all of their news from TikTok. So there's just so much to really unpack when you say that, and looking at it holistically to say, how are we being perceived outside of our business? And really, if you're the owner, you should know and not be too surprised by it because it's your house and what you've done with it. So yeah, I really, really, really like that one there.
Yeah, to comment on the TikTok thing, the dealership was, creating a TikTok of a walk around and they were, basically trying to present on TikTok that they were experts at knowing about their vehicles. And, people in the comments were, I came there, guy didn't know this, didn't know that, yada, yada. So again, if you're going to claim your X on, especially a social media website where we know trolls are everywhere and people love to comment and love attention, just make sure that everything is lining up, because like you said, it can backfire for you.
Yeah. And I've got Charles saying here, when I hear brand loyalty, I always wonder, which brand is being referred to? Are we talking about the OEM or the dealership? I think many people forget that the OEM loyalty programs are not dealership loyalty programs. Amen to that one. I mean, that's very, very true. And I think in my mind, Charles, I will say brand loyalty is both. It's both. I mean, I've seen more and more people, and statistically speaking, that are not going back to the same dealership where they bought their car for a multitude of reasons. Obviously, we've had some crazy years from 2020 to 2023. We'll see what 2024 has in store for us. But each year has been so different in a matter. I don't know if I've seen that much change in a 3-year span. 2008, we had it 2009, but really it was just roller coaster everywhere. So I think for me personally, I believe it's both the OEM and, I mean, for the first time I went away from I'll say an OEM that I had forever. And I don't know next time if I'll get it or not, which is so rare. Like usually I'm so loyal to things. But there's a lot of things that play a factor in shit. For me, I'm big on privacy and security, and the current OEM I have, while I really like the vehicle, it's like one of the worst vehicles you can have for privacy and security. So I'm like, do I really want to go with that next time? And then if that's the case, I'm not going to go back to the dealership as well, because they obviously are selling a different brand. So I think there's a lot of things there. And the incentives, I mean, we're finally starting to see 0% come back. So I think I believe there's a lot of different variables to that one, but you are 100% right there. And
yeah, I think you're so brand loyalty, right? So what is brand loyalty? Well, I mean, there's tier 1 all the way down to tier 3, right? And they're all their own brands on their own. Specifically, the statistics that you see now most often, or like ones that cars.com reported, are about tier 1. So, but with that trickles down all the way to the dealership. So if somebody's choosing not to buy a Chevy again, then they're probably not going to do business with that Chevy dealership again, right? So, all that trickles down. And I think that's kind of where this comes into play. Is here's an opportunity where you have all these people no longer loyal to their brand or their dealership, and they're looking to form new relations somewhere else, and they're looking for somebody that they can feel trustworthy to do that with.
Amen. So let's transition a little bit. So we've talked about the wonderful, we talked about brand loyalty, we've talked about digital body language, and you know what? I'm just gonna say, what was one of the other takeaways, and we'll go from there.
Well, I think with the brand loyalty and that going, basically south, and the need to make sure your digital body language is all aligned. I think this comes down to, again, learning how to, once you have that persona that you've created, or the persona that you want to lean into, is then just taking that and make sure that you're marketing it correctly. And some things that we talked about, and I wasn't really going to touch on too much this, because I know it's such a hot topic and we're talking about all the time, is just making sure that your marketing is going to the right people in the most efficient way, and doing it intentionally through hyper targeting and making sure that the right message is getting in front of the right people. We joked about, and I want to say it's on LinkedIn, and I wish I knew who said it, because I'd love to give them credit, but someone said, I love when I get it's time for an oil change email on my EV, right? So it's dealerships, making sure that those type of messages, generic messages, non-personalized messages, incorrect messages, are not going out to those clients, that you're making sure your marketing dollars are getting spent correctly and getting spent intelligently. So I think, that's something else that dealerships should take away and should focus on this year.
Yeah, and it was funny. I did a whole thing on the cars rule. That's for anyone that doesn't know, it's like GLB on steroids. It's way worse than GLBA. That being said, they were actually meeting yesterday. I think it was on Supreme Court or somewhere. I'm gonna screw up exactly, but right now it's been paused, but most likely it's still going to continue. So one of those things is, hey, trying to charge for an oil change or some warranty package that includes oil change for your EVs. And I saw a lot of comments saying this doesn't happen. I was like, yeah, it does. It does. 100% it does. It's happened multiple times because there's a generic template that says, all right, at 6,000 miles, you're going to get this email, and it has nothing to do with them at all. And to Charles saying right here, consistency is key. You got Brian said, someone say, okay, now I just had hot pocket in my head. So thank you for that one. I had the entire skit just run through my head on that one. Hot topic. Yeah. Or the hot topic of what used to be the malls. For those kids, there was a thing called a mall.
Emo baby.
Yeah. But to your point, that's something that just drives me crazy. Denise and I were actually talking about this from PCG about the whole.
Shout out to Denise at PCG, by the way.
Yes, Denise, we love you. Man, I just bought a car and you're going to send me something about some new special you're having. Or I just service with you and it's like, it's time to come in for service. What are you doing? Please. And there's so many tools out there. There's obviously you guys have Full Throttle. There's a lot of good tools out there that can say, let's make sure we're having the right message at the right time to the right person. I know that's a crazy, crazy concept, but yeah, we've got also please as stakeholders engage in all aspects of your digital platform regularly. Yeah. And
absolutely.
That's a big one.
I'll co-sign that right along with him. And we talked about this, I think, Brooke, on our ATI when we sat together, just about, dealer principles and things, not shopping their own websites or not going through that buying process that their customers go through and being so disconnected from that, right? So absolutely, I think it was Peter who just commented that. Absolutely.
Yeah, Peter. So it's very true here. And Wayne, here we go. Once again, seen it firsthand. And gas for a year with your EV. Like, what are we doing here? Here's a gas card. Oh, that's right. It doesn't take gas. Unless you're in Chicago and all the Teslas stop. And there's no way, if anyone didn't see this, it made national news. Like all my siblings who live all on the West Coast, like, did this really happen? And Larry, I know I sent you this, but full out. And I'm not against EVs. I'm gonna be very clear. It was like, how they'll make some over-the-air update. Tesla will and make it work. But in just another western suburb of us, all the Teslas stopped working, completely died. The chargers wouldn't work. And some guy goes, it's just a bunch of sad, dead robots. I was like, that's all right. I'd like that.
But they just froze, or like the components couldn't interact?
Think of like an iPhone on wheels, right? If your iPhone's outside, it's going to die quickly.
So that happens to me down here because of heat. Like if I'm by my pool, my phone will say, hey, this is too hot. It shut itself off.
And I haven't seen that with Teslas yet. If John Ellis was in the chat here, I could be able to I'm sure he would jump up with like 8 million stats on this one. But yeah, people were literally getting out of their car, speaking of the gas card, getting out of their car because the charger stopped working because it was, once again, it was like -35, -40. Who was someone up here earlier that said they were in Chicago, and who was it up here? Steven probably knows all about this because he's in Chicago as well. And they couldn't charge. So people were getting Ubers to get home, or they were jumping in another friend's car that was a gas-powered car. So like I said, it's just the joys of like EVs are still working our way out on everything on this one, but there's maybe.
And not to say that ICE cars don't freeze, right? But like,
oh no,
it's a challenge that we're gonna go through. I think again, Tesla still has the lock on it. They have the map for, I think, what EVs could and should be, and I think a lot of the OEMs are still struggling to figure that out. They're trying to identify themselves. And not to take this off on an EV tangent because we can talk about that forever. But yeah, that's wild. Did you know how many cars it actually affected up there?
It was like an entire parking lot. I mean, people were backed up so far because they're trying to charge their car. It's a big area that has a ton of chargers, and I don't know the number on that. And to Peter, yes, the oil and the drive units, but when these CRM emails are going out, it's about an oil change. That's the difference on that one. And also from a legal standpoint, you can't be offering those normal oil change warranties with an EV anymore. And we've got Larry Popsicles. Yes, they were. I'll see the testicles, not testicles. There's a very big difference. It's Friday. It's my shoe. I can do whatever the hell I want to do. Testicles.
I'm not even gonna try to say that because it will not come out right anytime, and it's not even going in my vocabulary.
Oh, like I said, we're so close to NADA. My brain is fried from the marketing. You're trying to do your own, I can't even take it, my own company here. Let's have some fun with it. We got Wayne saying car and chargers. We've got Wayne, this is very dangerous for your loved ones in the car. With Peter, Tesla's to die in cold weather. I had 5. Charging is an issue. Oh, there you go. There, yeah. I was gonna say, I figured Peter would know because he's had quite a few Teslas here. But that's another thing. Like, oh God, it's probably the first 20 episodes we did back when I didn't know what I was doing. Not that I know what I'm doing now. And I had a guest on, and we were talking exactly about that. They go, hey, I just want to be able to test drive to see how it does in Chicago winters versus how it does in the summers, because I don't know. I really don't know. So I hope more and more that these subscriptions will come out, or test drives will elongated test drives will happen. Back to Hertz. Yeah, Hertz. That's a lot. That's an entire show to unpack on that one, because it wasn't just that they did a bad job educating people as well. So I think there's a lot of things with that one, and backed up all the way to Hertz. And then, here we got Steven, EV versus ICE, or DR versus in person. AI versus human intelligence. It's the greatest opportunity to embrace both, not one or the other. Amen. Human side to it. That's, of course, Stephen, you'd say that because you're always see, Peter. I think we need. Here you go, buddy. Right here. I might make that into a shirt. I think we need to make that into a shirt. Little testicles, or big. Whatever. Joe saying it's Friday. It's my show. I can do whatever I want. Yeah, that's true. And then we also go. Chris, you didn't know what you were getting into, did you?
I know you, so I kind of did. I'm here for it. I am here for it.
Okay, so let's get it back on track here for a hot second. We were talking about that personalized marketing, how incredibly important it is. And if that's something which I would think you'd want to do, but if you're like, hey, I'm not really sure, just go through and start. We got NAD around the corner here. If you're not going to NAD, believe me, people are going to have like a million different recap shows. Just ask one of your buddies. Ask LinkedIn. Hey, I'm looking at Full Throttle. I'm looking at, or whatever CDP you're looking at, or whatever product you're looking at that's going to do something along those lines. There's so many questions to ask, and I don't want to go too far on this because I know I've done a lot of show on this. Just know that ask those questions. If you don't know what questions to ask, reach out to us. Hey, do we own our data? How is this doing? It's our push-pull integration. How is the integration? Talk to someone that has your website. So if you have website provider ABC and you've got DMS provider XYZ, make sure they work. Okay, what about on fixed dots? What happens then? What about our CRM? Does any of this stuff actually talk to each other? And if it doesn't, don't go straight to villainizing the company. Understand why it doesn't. Or maybe, hey, Brooke, it's on our track right now. It's on our roadmap. Give us 6 months, it'll be there. Okay, at least now I know what's going on.
Things are still groundbreaking. We're still coming into it as we grow. And one thing you said on the episode, Brooke, was that look into it. I say you should shop multiple, because there's different fits for different companies depending on what you need. Do you have the internal staff for it? Are you going to create staff for it? Do you want one that works more hands off? Like Full Throttle, for example, has more AI integrated. So, you don't need as much staff, but there are other ones who you can kind of get a little bit more granular, but you need to put a full staff dedicated to it. So depending on your store needs are, the way you're set up, how you want it to grow and how you want to evolve, you really need to look into all of them. And if not, as you said, ask for help. That's what we're here for.
Yep. There's so many people in our industry, in our amazing industry, that all you got to do is tap them on the shoulder and be like, I got a question for you. I mean, we've
been waiting to talk.
Like, yeah, I'm like, oh, please. Like this week alone, I've reached out to one of my good friends probably 4 different times. Like, I've never even heard of this company. Do you know anything about it? He's like, I haven't. So I reached out to 3 other friends, and they're like, no, I haven't. I was like, okay, someone's got to know about this. But if no one does, okay, maybe that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You just got to do a little bit more research. But I mean, I have an awesome network where I can reach out. I'm like, hey, you're much smarter than me. You're much smarter than me. So help me out on what am I missing here? Does this program work with this? Does this with this? So you just tap someone on the shoulder and ask them, and they'll gladly help.
Yeah,
if they're a good person.
Well, I think for those that are going to NADA, and I heard somebody say this, years ago, and I think it's so true, is if you're going to NADA, don't be scared to go down those smaller lanes and talk to some of these smaller companies, because it is very likely they could have some tech that, is going to be breaking in the next few years or on the horizon or stuff like that. And it doesn't help to, educate yourself a little bit about some other things are happening with some of those smaller companies too, is talk to them a little bit, whether that's if those smaller companies blow up or, they get integrated with the tech in some of those, some of the larger companies. It's always good to hear out what those smaller ones say as well. So I'm a, big proponent of going and learning as much as you can, especially at NADA. It's not just for shopping.
No. Or to show off your kicks. I mean, that's a big one as well. But I am curious, in the comments, whoever's still here, what are you wearing to NADA? There's been so many freaking posts about this, Chris. I mean, you know me. I actually was talking to Dan Moore last night. I was like, man, I got to start game planning. I don't know because I've got some really cool looking J's, but they're not gonna make the trip out because they're not as comfortable. So I'm curious, everyone in the chat, what are you wearing? Are you wearing the OG of the car industry, because we keep Cole Haan in business? Are you wearing Cole Haans?
Absolutely.
Are you wearing the Nike Dunks? Are you wearing for me, my go-to when I really need comfy J's is going to be the Jordan 2s are super, super comfy. There's some center courts that are really good. Those are the ones that you commented on. I don't know what conference was. They're white and gold. And I've got some black and pink ones as well. Those are really comfy. So it's like, all right, as much as I love the other ones I've purchased, I got to think comfort first here. So we've got Wayne saying, thank you for the plug for up and comers. Yes. Amen to that one. That's such a zoot suit. But riot. Is there going to be a riot? Exactly. Wayne, to your comment, why people are throwing other comments in here about the shoes here is, I remember this is probably a year ago or so. I remember seeing some company, and it was just in passing. I was like, I've never heard about them, but I didn't have time to talk to them. I just kind of saw little demos on the side. And it wasn't until like a year later it was actually Larry that goes, hey, have you heard about this company? I go, man, that sounds so familiar. Why do I know the name of that company? And it come to find out they were the ones that, a year ago that I was right across the booth and saw what they're doing. I was like, and little things like that, because if you can get in on the ground floor and it's a good company with good, whatever it may be, whether it's tech, service, support, whatever it may be that you're trying to find here, why not get in the ground floor? I mean, all for it. So we got Russell saying he's wearing Airs. Curious which ones though, bud. Is there a specific one that you're bringing? I know you're not
talking Air Max. Are we talking 90s? Are we talking 95?
Or it could be Air Jordans. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We got a lot of options here. We've got Buster Browns. All right, there we go. There we go. Staying comfy, my friend. I like that. Love it. Love it. Yeah. So that's at some point you'll all get I'm actually starting to ship stuff out today, and mainly to make more room for my shoes because yeah. Oh, I can tell you something. Tell us. The anticipation's killing us right now. Killing us.
I was a little concerned originally. So, Brooke, for me, I'm wearing some cool sneakers every time at a convention. To me, it's like part of the fun of having a convention. I want to have some wacky, colored, vest, or wacky colored suit jacket to match my sneakers. With Stream this year, we have we all have kind of a matching uniform thing going on right now. So there won't be any like super cool vest colors from me or jacket colors this year. And originally we were all going to wear Vans, which I was a little disappointed in because I'm not a Vans guy at all. But we actually have these really cool Dunks that we're all wearing that are like orange, and the Nike swoosh is like the Cosmos that looks like the Cosmos. So at least my sneakers will be cool this year.
Hey, we've got Steven, Wolf and Shepherd. I think you said that. Sorry, boy, man. I just know your feet are going to be happy. That's what I know about that. So it doesn't really matter as long as your feet are happy. I was on a NADA webinar with Michael Burkholz and Vista Dash, Dealer Build, all of them. And we were talking about it. And he said something about what he's wearing. And I just go, dude, as long as I think it was Johnson Murphy he's wearing. I go, as long as your feet are happy, that's all that matters. Because I clocked during Digital Dealer in Vegas last year, I averaged between 8 and 10 miles a day I was walking. Now, that's Digital Dealer. So you take this on an NADA scale, it's going to be a lot of miles you're clocking here. We've got bring back my air. Oh,
bring your skateboard. Bring your skateboard with it, Charles. I want to see at least one.
Oh, I had God, that was so long ago. Oh, we're kind of dating ourselves right now. Mine were gray and blue, and I'm totally spacing the name of them. I only had one pair. And I saved up like crazy so I could get them. I went to Zoomies and got them. I was so I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
You know, Brooke, this is a great kind of representation of what we're talking about in authenticity of the dealership, right? So when it comes to your sneakers, whether that you're going to wear, something comfy, whether you're going to wear your Jordans and represent who you are, Brooke, like again, being authentic to who you are, whether that's, hey, I want to be comfy and that's my personality, or you're wearing Buster Browns, whatever it may be, as long as it's who you are and it's authentic,
Well, and I think I told you this. I was at the Kane event, and if Jordan Cox is still on here, he can attest to this. So I hadn't been to the Kane event, and I was like, I'll wear I had a pair of Cole Haan like loafers, and it's crazy. I had the ground zero to wear, but it was a pair of like pink and white loafers. And he takes a picture like this, right? Well, I'll bring it over. There we go. And my shoes are in it. And it was actually Peter Smith was the first person to be like, circles them. He's like, hey, are you okay? Like, where are your Jordans? And what people didn't know is I had my pink 11s up in my room. I just wanted to make sure it was okay to wear Jordans to the thing. I got blown up that I easily got 20 messages about where are the Jordans? Are you okay? Like, traitor. Like, have you been abducted? What is going on right now? So now it's like, okay, there was a day, like, I don't know the first time I met you, if I was wearing, like, I've been collecting forever, but I used to wear heels.
You were wearing Jordans 1,000%. That's how our conversation started.
Okay, there we go. So before then, like I would wear my heels. I'd wear my 3-piece suit to conferences and like, screw this. Like, no, we're done with this. Like, I'll still have the business casual, but first professional look going on. But it's just so much more.
I just love how it's been so widely accepted at conventions now that I want to say in companies in general now that employees and people doing business, there's not like one single box that everybody needs to fall in. Everyone's able to express themselves a little bit. So I'm really happy we've changed in that direction.
I agree. And it's a great conversation starter. Like, I can be anywhere, and because of my shoe knowledge, I'm like, oh, those, or someone will come up to me. So it's an instant icebreaker to wherever you are. So whether at a conference or out to eat, whatever it may be, it makes, I love the conversations that start from it. So it's been a lot of fun here. All right. Do we miss anything here, Chris? Or do we miss any of the takeaways? Anything else you want to add?
Brooke, I know me and you, we can talk forever, and then eventually some point in time, we'll probably need to eat and drink water and use the restroom. So, are there things we can still talk about? Absolutely. I think just, the overall takeaway, at least from our singular episode, most recent episode, was just, try to identify yourself as a dealership. Try to make sure that your digital body language that is shown to the consumer is just running parallel with itself, that it's authentic, that the messaging is there, because there's so much opportunity right now for dealerships out there to gain market share by building trust with new clients that have never seen you before, never done business with you before. And I think, if anything, that's the main takeaway I want dealerships to walk away with today. So.
Love it.
And come see me at NADA. I will be at the Full Throttle screen booth wearing some dunks. Like I said, just ask for Hawaii. If you walk up and you don't see me, someone will grab me. I'll be wearing an Aloha pin if you look out for that. And yeah, I think that's it.
All right. Fantastic. And just once again, I just want to thank everyone once again for all this, for all your support. Without you all, this show doesn't exist. And I'd love, like I said, every week coming on to the show and seeing all the personalities of each and every single person come through in the comments. So just thank you so much. Thank you for the overwhelming support for the show. Like I said, if you did not get a chance to sign up or it was full or whatever, I'll be at another show. No worries at all. But in the meantime, do not forget about the happy hour from Dealer World, Dealer Funnel, Excel Media Group, and Stella AI. It's going to be Wednesday and Thursday, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. So you can come on over after you've had dinner at one of the many dinners you're going to, I'm sure. And then Friday and Saturday, same thing, 5 p.m. though to 12 a.m. So we've got you covered one way or another for sure. And we're super, super excited to see everyone. And we've got Wayne saying signed to DNA. Just remember that big players are acquiring technology so they can bring it to their market. Yes, very true. Very, very true. And with that, everyone, we're going to hop on out of here. We've got a show next week. And then obviously we've got NAD around the corner after that. So we won't have a show in 2 weeks from now, but we'll make up for it from 10 to 5 every 15 minutes on Saturday the 3rd. So we'll make up for it right there. But with that, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your day, your weekend. As always, find a way to serve today. Find a way just to make everyone's life, the people around you, a little bit better. It can be opening a car door for someone. It can be just smiling. Go shovel someone's walk. unless you're Christopher, because you don't have to go shovel anything. So I don't know, do something else. But
I'll pick up their iguanas. That's what.
yeah, there you go. Watch out for the coconuts and iguanas that fall down you, unlike here where it's icicles. But everyone, once again, just thank you for everything, and we'll see everybody next week.